Hey, Facebook. It's been a long time since I've seen you. So, I am just leaving my patient advisory board meeting that we have once every quarter. And I just really had to hop on here and tell you guys there is seriously a huge resource that's missing inside of your doctor's office, inside any medical facility really. And I just found some super good information. So, a little backstory. So for the last year, I have served on Ohio State's patient advisory board, and it has been super helpful because I want to make a huge difference in what's happening inside of just patient care in general. I want better outcomes. I want better resources for people, because I think in my experience and the journey that I've had in getting better and having better health than I've had in my entire life is having the resources to help myself. And the one thing I always felt that was missing was what can I do? What else can I do besides take this pill that's not really going to solve the problem, but it's going to dampen my symptoms. So I've been on this advisory board because I want to make a difference, and every meeting we're hearing about what they're doing to have better service for the patients and how they can have better access, but they're not talking about what can these patients be doing. So every meeting I always bring up, I say, what resources are on the horizon for patients and what can we be doing as patients outside of our visit. And they always say, we have referrals, and referrals are great, but referrals obviously take time, and you've got to want to have the referral. So anyway, I said, when I was first diagnosed with POTS over a year ago, the one thing that was given to me was a pamphlet that had a list of the items that I could eat with more sodium from McDonald's and Wendy's and Burger King, and I thought that was the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. So at this meeting I brought it up because there's a couple doctors that also serve on the advisory board as well, and I said, this is a pamphlet that I was given, and I'm wondering if that kind of information that's going to make me sicker can be handed out. Can we start handing out a pamphlet that says if you just eat some more vegetables, and if you just move your body a little bit, you might feel better. And this doctor said to me, she said, it's just not something we're trained on. She said in medical school, 1 hour course, that was it. In all of their medical school, that's it. 1 hour is all they were taught about nutrition. And so that's just such a huge, crucial piece in, I think, recovery and healing, and no matter what facet it is, whether you have an illness or whether it's mental, physical, emotional, spiritual, whatever, is just having those resources. And no doctor is telling you that they were never trained on this stuff. This wasn't anything that they know about. They had 1 hour course in med school, which I think is so crazy, that all they're taught is, here is a pill for every ill. And I just thought that was so crazy. And so what I found in my experience over the last year was there's so many resources out there that you can use to empower yourself if your doctor, which clearly they weren't trained on it. That was huge news to me, that they're just kind of giving this information but they were never trained on. Anyway, there's just so many resources out there for nutrition, and that's such a huge missing piece inside of these doctors' offices, that they just weren't trained. So someone that I love and I follow myself is Chris Carr. ChrisCarr.com, CARR. She's amazing. And I follow some of her stuff. Dr. Mark Hyman, he is the number one person that I follow, because he, breaks, the myths on food and nutrition and how we could be eating that might make us feel a little better. But that's a huge resource that's missing, and no one's talking about it. No one is talking about the fact that our doctors, that we as adults are seeing, that our children, I mean, I don't have children, but my friends, the people I know that I work with, their children are seeing physicians who just were never trained on nutrition. So while they're coming in and they're seeing patients that are diabetic or have high blood pressure or chronic fatigue syndrome or whatever it might be, they don't have the resources and the knowledge to tell them what they could be doing outside of the doctor's office. So anywho, I wanted to touch on that because that's something I'm really passionate about, and I really want to bring to the forefront of people's minds, is that like we have the power to get ourselves better, in a better place than we are right now. And that's how I'm working with my clients, is to build a customizable plan to them. And it's not just, you go to someone in your, I don't know, well, for a lack of better examples, if you go to the doctor and you say, I have diabetes, they automatically label you as every other person who has diabetes. It's not a personalized plan. It just says, oh, you have diabetes? Here's a diabetes medicine. No. And while I'm not a doctor, I, as a patient, have been basically self-treating myself for the last year and a half. Of course, I still see my doctors, whatever, but the most empowering thing is that I have my own toolbox that is customizable to me, that I know whatever I'm going through, I have this metaphorical toolbox that I can reach into and help myself, instead of just relying either on a pill that that's definitely not going to make me better, or relying on my doctor who is never trained in nutrition or really anything else. Now that I've learned, I don't know, now that I have this toolbox, that's how I'm working with people, and I'm helping them customize their own toolbox and teaching them how to be self-reliant on getting the information that they deserve, that they need, and how they can heal on whatever level it is, whether it's a physical, emotional, or spiritual, emotional, mental level. Whatever healing that they're trying to get, we have the capacity to do that. We just have to have our resources in our toolbox, and we can make that happen. So anywho, I just wanted to pop on because I thought that was so fascinating, and now, as you can tell, I get a little pink, when I get so revved up about that, because it's a huge missing piece in society, is we're just not being taught how to have our own toolbox and how to help ourselves. So, you're going to see more of me, because I'm real excited about this, to help guide people and give them the resources to help themselves. So, anyway, happy Thursday. I've got to skedaddle on out of here, but you'll be seeing more of me. See ya!